Morgan? I guess you're right.
There's someone to see you, Miss Taylor.
I'll tell him to drop dead.
It's important. Mr. Friedman said to come to the office right away.
Miss Taylor, this is Mr. Dixon and Mr. Klein. They're police detectives.
How do you do?
How do you do? Just sit down, please, Miss Taylor. We'd like to ask you a few questions.
What would you like to know?
You were with Kenneth Payne last night?
Yes.
You were at a so-called floating crap game in the apartment of a man named Scalisi at the 43rd Street Hotel, is that right?
Yes.
Have you been in touch with Payne this morning?
No.
Have you any idea where he might be?
No, I haven't.
From what we hear, you're pretty well acquainted with Payne.
Yes.
How well? Could you tell us, please?
I'm his wife.
Is that so? But you're living with your father, we understand.
Ken and I separated 3 months ago.
What happened at Scalisi's while you were there?
May I know why you're asking me all these questions?
We'd rather tell you afterward, if you don't mind.
Well, Kenneth was drinking, and we had a quarrel.
I understand he hit you.
Yes.
Did you see him hit Morrison?
No, I didn't. I left.
Where'd you go?
Home.
Take a taxi?
No, I met my father at his stand a block from the hotel. He's a taxi driver. He drove me to the subway.
Did you hear from Payne after you got home?
Yes, he telephoned.
What'd he say?
I don't know. I hung up.
What time was that?
About 12:30.
Did he call from his house?
No,
How do you know if you hung up without talking to him?
because my father went down to Ken's place after he dropped me.
What for?
Really? Is this necessary?
We think so, Miss Taylor.
Well, I didn't want to tell him anything. But I was crying, and he noticed the bruise.
What'd he say?
He was very angry. He told me before that...
What?
Well, that if Ken ever hit me again, he'd beat his head off.
Morrison was killed last night.
No.
At Scalisi's place, shortly after you left. He was killed with a knife.
And you're looking for Ken? Because you think he did it?
When did your husband start getting jealous of Mr. Morrison?
Jealous? That's silly. Mr. Morrison was somebody I hardly knew.
You went out with him.
No, Ken called me up and asked me out to dinner.
You just said you were separated from your husband.
Yes, but he kept insisting. And I felt sorry for him. When I got to the restaurant, he had Mr. Morrison with him. Then after dinner, Ken took us to this gambling place. And then I realized all he wanted to see me for was to use me as a sort of decoy to help get Mr. Morrison to go there. I was sinking pretty low, I thought. Poor Ken. He must be desperate for money.
Why did Payne hit you?
Because I wanted to go home. He didn't want Mr. Morrison to leave.
Because Morrison was winning.
Yes,
How much was he ahead?
a great deal. I think they said about 19,000.
Thank you for the information. We won't bother you any longer.